Perimeter Church is a large church. I mean, we're a 5,000 person church. But we have a distinction besides discipleship. It may exist somewhere, but I've never heard of a church that had 240 ruling elders. Now, they don't meet together as a board, by the way. 9 of them do that. But they're out there shepherding. And I believe the reason we've been able to identify 240 men that qualify under Timothy and Titus to be spiritually mature enough to be elders is because of discipleship. Because they've been discipled and are discipling and have discipled. That builds leaders. If you're going to disciple, you're going to raise up leaders. So discipleship, and then real biblical community means engaging not just at the rational level with each other. I call that fellowship. You can have your own definition of it, but I call it church fellowship. They know the names. We know the names of the kids and how you're doing on this level up here. And you can, I wouldn't argue with you if you said no fellowship. I use a deeper definition for fellowship. But engaging at the heart level. Engaging at the heart level, not just engaging at the surface level. So what is the heart level? What does that mean and how do you do it? We're going to spend 1 o'clock to 3 o'clock tomorrow afternoon, for those of you that are here, in a grand experiment of giving all of you an opportunity to try that. To try engaging deeply at the heart level. I'm going to give you a model of the heart that you've never seen before, and because it was developed by a friend of mine, actually. And that really connects with a lot of people. And we're gonna, and I'm gonna model it with Matt, who stepped forward and volunteered because Bob told him to. Something like that. That's what Matt. But Matt is brave enough to allow me to engage him deeply tomorrow, and then you're going to practice the same thing. You just get a little tiny taste, maybe some of you, with each other as you do this, as to what deep heart engagement can really be. And to me, what real biblical community can look like in a church, between brothers and sisters. And I believe also that developing real biblical community includes being able to do relationship and mission as we do church at the same time. And not saying, well, relationship, that's what, go to a small group. But when we meet as an elder board, we're on mission. We're doing the mission of the church. Or when we go overseas, we're on mission. You want relationship, go to this venue. You want organization and doing mission, come over here. I believe that an elder board should go deep relationally. So I was saying this at a church in Calgary, Canada last year, and at the break, this young lady came up to me and said, "Do you really believe what you just said?" And I said, "Which part?" She said, "The relationship and mission together." Because I had said I think churches tend to be pendulums. You're either disorganized and relational, or you're unrelational and organized. She had seen that at her church. She said, "I came to this church 2 years ago, 3 years ago, whatever it was. I'd just become a Christian." She was a lady from New Zealand, I believe, and now she's up in Canada. She said, "I was loved to death by this church. I fell in love with this church because they were so loving. And they were growing, and so I guess they thought they needed to get more organized. And I just saw them go from here to here, as you described it, John. And I don't feel the love anymore, but we're more organized." She said, "Do you believe that we could be both?" I said, "I believe that would honor Jesus. That he doesn't want us to do business and not be loving each other and be deep relationally at the same time. So I have to believe there's a way we can do both." She goes, "Thank you, you've given me such hope." And that's the hope I have for church. That we can learn to do both at the same time, not in different venues. And not fight in the boardroom and love each other, in the small group. So that's what I mean. So discipleship obviously impacts a lot of this. It'll impact your shepherding. It'll impact developing leaders. You will be developing real biblical community within your discipleship groups, and hopefully that will come out and infect your whole church. It'll help you to build cohesive leadership teams because people will learn how to relate together at a deeper level and will value that. And I think you can do that even as you grow and fill up this 116 acres or whatever it is with buildings and athletic fields and parking lots and so forth, you'll have to become more organized in some ways. You'll have to morph your organization into different organization, but hopefully you'll do that in a way that you're loving your people deeply as you do it, and it won't get in the way of that. So that's where I see discipleship fitting, not just as a standalone ministry in the church, but as a ministry that changes your church, that changes your whole church. Any questions about that? By the way, somebody asked me, well, if this is a model of a church, where's mission? You know, it's not a model of a church in that sense. Mission is in your ministry plan. That's what your church is here about. These are things I see that churches are struggling with and don't know how to get their arms around. They don't know how to do.